what we've been doing so far, and just to keep everyone in the loop, basically, in terms of development stuff, the system, and other things like that. So to start off, we're gonna speak about the hierarchy in the group, basically, like how we've made it to function. So starting off, there's the commander. You can go on the group ranks if you want as well to kind of keep up. But there's the commander rank, which is my rank, where I basically oversee the whole group. Then you have the lead generals. Now, at once, there will only be two lead generals because one oversees external affairs and the other oversees internal affairs. So, external, that will have two departments under it, warfare and diplomacy. And the head of external affairs will basically be their overseer and ensure that their departments are doing well. And with internal affairs, the overseer of that will basically have the training department and community. So they will ensure those departments are doing well. And for the leaders of these departments, they will be in the grand general ranks. So there will only ever be four grand generals at once. Or if we decide to open up a department, then we would allow one more grand general to be in. But basically, all the grand generals, they have to lead a department. And then under that, you'll have the generals. So each general, they will be assigned to a specific department to basically be an assistant for that department and ensure that it's doing well. So basically, it's just to ensure every single department has the support it needs. And then moving down from there, you have the colonels. Now, that's the highest high rank. That's not within the high command. And they're limited to two departments. And with these departments, they basically tend to have higher positions in there and like have more of an administration role in the departments. And with their quotas as well, they will really be strongly based around the departments that they're in. So if you're like a warfare colonel, then you basically might have to host like 4 raids a week or something like that. It's just an example. And then for like the main division, you might just have to host one training. So the quotas will be much higher for the departments. Then under that, you have the Justicar ranks. Now, the Justicars, basically they're basically the ranks, the high ranks, which allow you to join departments like the main ones. Because for captains, you can only join recruitment or community. But once you become a Justicar, you can pretty much like join warfare, diplomacy, and all other departments. Now, for captains, what basically we require from captains is to host the main trainings basically. So for the group, what we want is for 2 trainings to happen every single day at specific times. And because of that, we want the captains to focus on trainings basically. So they won't really be looked at to host any raids or anything because they won't really be allowed to until they're promoted. And then going down from the captains, you have the lieutenants. Now, that's the officer in training rank. So if you're that rank, you'll basically be taught how to become an officer and the protocols and stuff like that. So that's the structure, basically. So depending on what rank you are, you know what your duties are, basically. I recommend, like, because there's a lot to cover. So if you have a question now, it'd be better to just write it down and then you can just tell me at the end, or if you don't understand anything. So for the rank promotions, we have Hayat Kintas, Bryson, and Blair. They've been promoted to the lead generals. So basically, Bryson will be leading the head of he'll be the head of external affairs. So he will manage warfare and diplomacy, and Blair will be leading internal affairs, meaning she will manage community and the training department. For the Grand Generals, Airborne Div, Craig, and it was gonna be Bloxer, but we're still unaware of his commitments in real life and whether he will have the position. They'll promote it to Grand Generals, so they'll be leading departments basically. We still are looking for someone to officially lead the training department and community, but we're planning on getting those positions filled real soon. So now Bryson's going to speak a little bit about the warfare and diplomacy departments, basically.
For warfare, I'm actually going to let Aaron talk about his plans for it first instead. Aaron and Braden, you can go ahead.
Shit. No, I've not got stuff fucking written down, but um, hold on.
I
Okay,
unmuted you, don't worry.
so wait, hold on, give me a second. Okay, so for the welfare department right now, what we well, so like we've got a certain like we've got we've got a what's the word a what's the word a quota of at least 2 to 3 raids or like defenses per raid host. And fuck, I should have fucking smoked before this, but yeah, but it's like we have so like a fuck man, I really should have smoked, bro. Wait, hold
You want
on,
me to
hold on.
save you a little bit?
Yeah.
Alright, so for Warfare, what he's trying to say is that the quota right now is 2 to 3 raids per raid host per week. We'll adjust that depending on training department and how they set up their quotas, because we can't have our quota be too high to the point where they can't meet theirs for the main group as well. But as it stands, Warfare is only with Kraid in the lead with Braden as his assistant. Only H2 and above can even be in Warfare or Diplomacy, and as of now, we don't have any H2s or higher besides the HICOM, so it's sticking to just them. But we've set up a pretty easy way to see who's what rank in the Warfare department, and we've set up a few different things that we are planning on having people do. If you look in the officer discussion, I posted a link. You guys should be able to see the document from that. There we go. There's a better one. Alright, so you should be able to see the document. If you scroll down to the positions part, it goes Director, Deputy, Diplomatic Integrators, Raid Hosts, War Hosts. It's pretty simple. The Integrators are people who are in Warfare and Diplomacy, and they just host events like joint raids, joint defenses, stuff like that. And then War Hosts are the only people who are allowed to host raids once we go into a war. It's just the people that are just a little bit better in the raid department than regular raid hosts, and Director, Deputy are the two people leading it. And then branching from that into Diplomacy, at the moment we don't really have anything really set up for Diplomacy, as we can't really get any allies before the group launches, just like Warfare. Here is another link so you can look at the main document. There you go. There's the scrolling down. If you go to positions, again, it's Director, Deputy, it's Head of Diplomacy, and then their second in command. Chief Liaison Officers, the way it's going to be set up is there's going to be one CLO per ally. So let's say if we're allied to 3 groups, there would be 3 different ones, and each one's assigned to their own ally, and they're assigned to keeping up with the ally, hosting events with them, stuff like that. And of the liaison officers, just the regular members in Diplomacy, they're going to be assigned to their own group as well. So there'd be 3 people per ally, for example. And conflict team are people who just settle any issues between the 2 clans, ours and our allies. Following that, at the moment, we don't have any specific plans for future allies, wars, anything of such. We have a couple people that we're probably going to look at, but as it stands, we still have probably another 2 weeks before the fort actually gets finished, and that is the last thing that we're waiting on. I believe you all saw, if you go to officer announcements, I posted a YouTube link to showing what each of the uniforms were. If you haven't seen it yet, I would go and check that out. There's a good chance we're going to redo the HICOM, just because it doesn't look that great, the HICOM one. But as it stands, those are the uniforms for the moment, and we don't really have much else to talk about for these two departments other than that. So I'll pass it back to Zijik.
All right, cool. So now we're pretty much gonna talk about the developmental changes which we've done in the group. So currently we have a holo, which we're gonna host the trainings, the rallies at and stuff. So we're gonna, because a lot of you probably haven't seen it. I'm gonna post a link and then you guys can join and check it out. I'm just loading Discord, so if you know what the group is and whatever, you can just join it yourself. But it's called Dropship Alpha.
I posted a link to it in officer discussion.
Thanks.
Do we join?
Yeah, join the game.
And one thing to note going into this is that even though this holo, it is operational, you can use it. It's still a semi-work in progress because there are a lot of bugs that we need to fix before we can really put it into use. But we have 3 people working on that at the moment.
Yeah, Extinct, if you have to join on your own, it's fine. You won't really need to type anyway, so whatever account you join on, it doesn't matter.
Oh, is this a training facility?
Insta, you joining?
Oh shit, yeah.
I think this is everyone because Ivory can't join. So this is the place basically. When there's trainings happening, people line up here. I'm not sure if I like the lines like this. We may make them just straight lines, but this is where people line up pretty much. For ceremonies, depending on how many we get, because of course this isn't a lot of line space. We may get like high ranks who are like on top of this thing here, basically. So they'll kind of like just stand here. But yeah, this is pretty much the place. I think you guys should be able to see it if you're ranked in a group. But the GUI at the left, that basically allows you to do things like award points, check out your profile, load maps and stuff like that. And we also have a shop that we were thinking of making. Darfur's going to be scripting that, but depending on when he gets back from his holiday or whatever, it determines whether we will have that before launch. But yeah, this is the place pretty much. In terms of like loading maps, there'll be a video made which kind of shows you how to do that. Right now it's kind of buggy, but I'll show you like one map. I'll load one map so you can kind of see the gist of it.
You need to rejoin the game, Extincts.
But it lets you do things like you choose a game mode, and then depending on what game mode you choose, then it allows you to select maps, and then you can choose a weapon, the outscore, and how many teams you want. Then you just press start, and then it will do like a cutscene of the place, and then it will do a countdown and load the battle.
If you want, I can just show it really quickly in the video.
Oh yeah, sure.
Alright, so all you do is you click round on the left side. Every high rank should see that. You click round, you go into mode, you select whatever you want from here. At the moment, terminal rollback and terminal are pretty buggy. We're working fix those. All the others work. There's just a couple maps where you spawn outside still. But every bug has been written down and have been working on, so they should all be fixed soon. I'm going to load Team Swap. You just go ahead and map. Whenever you mouse over select on any map, it'll load a preview so you can see what the map looks like first. I'm going to load Battlefield, Sioux Float Swords, and outscore of 5. And we're going to start. For some maps, you can have 4. It just depends on the map, how many teams you're allowed to have per map. And once you load it, it just starts automatically. It'll team everybody, respawn everybody, reset stats, and then teams you in. And this is team swap, and it does work. So if you kill somebody, they get teamed to your team. And yeah, there are parkour maps. There's just different modes. You have to select neutral, and then there's just obby maps you can load from there. Just make sure every time you load a map, you always select the right tool that you want. Otherwise, it'll default to the previous selected one.
Yeah.
Team swap part of it does not work. Oh wait, yeah, that was fuck.
So visually, this place, I think it looks really good, but it's just a lot of behind the scenes bugs which you'll kind of notice as a host. But we're gonna get them fixed before we launch.
Yeah, the team swap only works for red and blue team.
Yeah, that would be stuff like that.
There's just a bunch of bugs that just need to be fixed.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's pretty much all for this place. I'm gonna place everyone to the fort that we have. It's like because we're gonna try and do guns and swords. We won't do a lot of gunfighting, but we're gonna have a gun base, so we will do some events there. So this will be a hybrid base. It will have guns and swords there, or just like if people want to raid us without any guns enabled, they can do that too.
But you got to keep in mind when we place here that this place has not been bug tested yet, but there are bugs there too that need fixed as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit.
One of the main things, if you pull out the sniper, it says rifle instead of rifle.
Oh shit.
Oh,
bro.
I want a riffle.
Bro.
The reason it says rifle is because Darth made it, and English isn't his first language. But these guns are like customs guns, so no other fans.
Bro, why is nobody not dying?
Because we're on the same team, the last.
But yeah, this is the what's it called? The hybrid fort. There'll be a terminal here.
Oh shit.
Just stay with me so you know what I'm talking about. So there'll be a terminal here, and then if you go down here, there's like an outside pretty much. You should be able to get across, and then there'll be a terminal outside around here.
Bro, this is so good, bro. Oh, so what? 2 times?
Well, depending on how we script it, we can have an option for 2 times, 3 terminals, or just 1.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So, and on this side, where is it? Yeah, down here, I think there's another terminal.
Damn, this is really nice.
So you could get 1 here as well, I think. Or is this the same? But yeah, I think I just went all the way around. But
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fucking
there's,
looking like me back.
let me see if there's another place. But I think there was. Yeah.
Over there, then, yeah, but otherwise, no.
Somebody's
So
keyboard doesn't
there'd
sound
be a
right.
crouch feature where you could get past. You can just spam jump and get over now. But then
Oh,
here there would be
shit.
another terminal on the other side, basically. So yeah, this is the place. It's quite like, it's not massively detailed, but it's probably a good reason. Because if it was really textured, then it might be laggy because there will be a lot of like gun bullets flying and stuff like that. And yes, but this is the place. It's pretty good and it matches the holo. So yeah, we're gonna get this scripted. It's not scripted yet, so there's not really much to show you regarding that. But the commands will be pretty simple, like normal thoughts. It will have like a official command and just stuff like that, pretty much. So yeah.
Damn, this is really nice.
You guys can leave now, the place, so you can look around. It's whatever. But yeah. I've just realized because Blair's not here, no one spoke about internal affairs. So
I can do it for her.
I don't mind. I can touch on it.
I mean, there's not much to say about it. It's, the way that we're planning on making training department and community work is, at the moment, there's no heads for them, so we haven't actually gotten any progress on it. However, the training department will be the actual HR progression, and the way that'll work is whoever's the head of it, it was going to be Bloxa, but we're not sure if he's still going to be or not. They'll be the ones working with the officers in training, which I know we have a couple in the call at the moment. But the head of training will be working with them, and then the head of community has the actual community of the Discord and the clan underneath them, and as well as that, they also have 2 sub-departments, which are going to be recruitment and marketing. And there's already a head of marketing, and marketing is going to be creating videos for the clan, creating stuff like that to try and get our name out there a little bit better. Recruitment is self-explanatory, what they'll be doing. And the last one was the actual community, and that'll be focusing on hosting events for the clan, things such as that. Alright? So, at the moment, neither of those spots are filled, but we still have 2 HiCom members who need a spot, I believe. One being Zataris, one being... I can't quite remember at the moment. But, we should get those last 2 spots filled easily by the time we actually launch.
That's pretty much all about IA. Moving back onto development changes. So I've showed you the holo and the fort, but we just finished the uniforms. For the video, Bryce, you can just play the video that you made. But we've got the uniforms. I'm sure all of you have seen it by now. But with the HiCom one and maybe the hiring one, we might change the capes. But other than that, that's pretty much the uniforms we're going to have when we launch. The other things which we need to get done before we launch in terms of development is the base. Like, we're going to get a main sword fighting base, which is primarily just for sword fighting. So we're going to try and make sure it's a good one. So we have Harb making one, and it's going to have like features such as tug of war, capture the flag, just whatever, just so we can stand out a bit more. And yeah, that's being made as we speak, pretty much. And then after that, what we want to do is we want to get our graphics done for the group. And then I think that's pretty much it. We're trying to get someone who can make a trailer, because I think that would be unique and stand out from other clans. But yeah, that's still an undergoing process. But yeah, that's pretty much it, I think. Bryson, did I miss anything out?
I don't believe that you missed anything, no.
Alright, yeah, that's pretty much it then. Does anyone have any questions?
Nope.
Oh, one thing that I know you did miss is you mentioned that there would be 2 trainings a day, but you didn't mention what times we had actually ended up deciding on.
Oh, got you. So, I think the times, I know one was like 5.
I believe they were both at 5:30.
5:30. So it would be like 5:30 GMT and 5:30 EST, I think. So for whether you're American, Canadian, or European, there'll be like a training which you can go to every single day. And I think just by having that, we'll be able to pretty much show our standards which we want in the training, and we'll always have, like, because a lot of groups there'll be EST only or BST only, but just having that will show that we're trying to make a group that can do well in all time zones, basically. So yeah, that's pretty much it, though.
Yeah, but just to reinforce that, that's an important point, and I'll make sure I point it out after this, is that the main thing about the clan is that we are planning to have those 2 events a day, every day. One at 5:30 GMT, BST, whatever. One at 5:30 EST, so that we can make sure we have an event for both sides of the clan, as well as making sure we have those 2 events every day minimum. We can have more in between the off times. It's just we have to have those 2 events every single day, or else we're going to start lacking.
Yeah, it just means that, like, if you was gonna host a raid, you would plan around the 2 trainings. So it wouldn't mean that's the only events. It just means those are the main ones we have to do, pretty much.
Does anybody have any questions or anything they'd like to bring up?
Nope.
No, not really.
Okay, cool. If you find that you have a question afterwards, you can DM anyone in the Triumvirate or just any high command person. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So for the officers, you guys are dismissed. I want the high command to stay behind just to speak about something real quick. But if you're just if you're an officer, you guys can leave now.
Alright. See ya.
I believe that's everybody. I'm the one who wanted the high ranks to stay late. I just have a couple things I need to cover. One, Kraid and Brayden, you 2 are working on Warfare together. At some point, I need you 2 to start talking to each other and starting to make any plans for Warfare. I know that we're not going to be able to do any real Warfare right off the bat, in terms of actually having a war and probably raiding and defending right off the bat. Our activity might be a little shaky, but with Zejix following and my following, it should be relatively easy to have at least a couple raids and defenses. So we have that, and we also have the fort index that's underneath you 2. I showed Kraid and I created it. Brayden, you've seen it. Make sure that you guys try and start working on that between now and the actual launch. Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Alright, so you 2 need to just talk to each other about that.
We can start soon though, right, Brayden? You know, that's fine with you, right?
And Ivory, what position did you end up getting? Do you have a position as high com?
Team.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Let me type it.
Okay, you're in development. So then the last two positions that we have mainly open are training and community. If we look at the generals chat, we have Zataris. We have Zataris and Bloxa, who neither have a job at the moment. Zijik, have you been able to talk to Bloxa or Zataris at this point and talk to them about getting a position?
Zataris was meant to be interviewed regarding community, I believe, but that didn't happen. And Bloxa, it just depends on his availability.
Have you been able to talk to him all about that?
I think it's safe to assume that Bloxa is going to retire.
Okay.
So, yeah, we're going to need someone for training.
Okay. Do you guys have any specific questions about anything about your departments, about moving departments, just anything at all?
Good here.
If you think of any, you can post them either in this Discord or you can DM Zijik or myself, it doesn't matter. But if you think of any questions, just let us know, we'll answer them. We're going to start trying to keep everybody more up to date on the happenings and what's actually going on in the clan and its development. I think we're going to start removing everybody from all the group chats that we have and instead just pushing everybody into this Discord so we can start using it more often. We could probably start with the HighCom group chat for sure. But we can work on that after the meeting's over.
You want me?
I think that's everything.
Yeah, that's pretty much everything. Yeah. If you're watching the video and you have a question, you can DM any Bryson or myself and we'll get back to you.
All right.
Alright.